Kelly Ripa has always been refreshingly candid about her marriage to Mark Consuelos, never shying away from revealing the quirks, the compromises, and the non-negotiables that have helped them keep their relationship strong for nearly 3 decades. But when the talk show host recently revealed that there is one modern-day practice she would never tolerate in her marriage, location sharing, fans leaned in. For Ripa, knowing her husband's every move isn't just unnecessary, it's, as she put it bluntly, a deal breaker. This revelation came during a conversation about the constant tracking culture couples sometimes fall into, where smartphones blur the line between love and surveillance. Kelly, with her trademark wit, explained, "The last thing I want to know is where Mark is every second of the day. It would drive me crazy, and honestly, it would probably drive him crazy too." The remark sparked laughter from her co-hosts and nods from viewers, but it also opened up a deeper conversation about trust, independence, and the art of maintaining space within a long-term relationship. After all, Kelly and Mark have been together for 28 years, through career changes, cross-country moves, raising 3 children, and, most recently, co-hosting Live with Kelly and Mark. If anyone understands the delicate balance of closeness and freedom, it's them. The love story that defied the odds. Kelly and Mark's marriage began like a scene from a soap opera, fitting, considering that's where they met. In the mid-1990s, both were starring on All My Children, and what started as on-screen chemistry quickly blossomed into real romance. After just a few months of dating, the two eloped to Las Vegas in 1996, shocking friends and family with their impulsive yet heartfelt decision. What followed was a life lived partly in the spotlight and partly in the quiet rhythms of raising a family. They welcomed 3 children, Michael, Lola, and Joaquin, while juggling demanding careers. Through it all, their marriage has been a rare Hollywood constant. But like any couple, they've had to figure out where to draw boundaries. Why location sharing is off the table. The idea of location sharing in a relationship is, for many, a sign of transparency and safety. For Kelly, though, it represents something else entirely, unnecessary intrusion. "Mark and I trust each other. We don't need to be checking in on where the other one is, because that's not how our relationship works," she said. "We've always given each other space, even when we were young parents and everything was chaotic. That's part of why it works, we don't suffocate each other." Her perspective isn't rooted in secrecy or avoidance, it's about maintaining individuality. As she explained, location sharing might seem harmless, but it subtly shifts the dynamics of trust. Once you start tracking, you're not really asking questions anymore. You're not saying, "Hey, what did you do today?" You already know. And honestly, that just takes the fun out of it. The trust factor. Kelly's comments highlight one of the cornerstones of her marriage, trust. Over the years, she and Mark have been open about the struggles of long-distance periods when Mark's acting career took him to sets across the country while Kelly was holding down the fort in New York. "Those times weren't easy," Kelly once admitted. "But we had to rely on trust and communication. If you don't have that, you can't survive a marriage, certainly not in this business." Location sharing, in her view, undermines that trust. It creates a false sense of connection by substituting digital surveillance for genuine communication. For a couple like Kelly and Mark, who pride themselves on keeping their marriage vibrant and authentic, that would be a slippery slope. Fans react, divided but fascinated. Unsurprisingly, Kelly's take lit up social media. Some fans applauded her stance, calling it refreshing and a reminder that marriage isn't about control. Others, however, admitted they couldn't imagine not sharing locations with their partner. One fan commented, "I'd be anxious if I didn't know where my husband was, especially with kids." Another wrote, "Kelly is right. If you don't trust your partner enough to not track them, maybe you shouldn't be married." The debate underscored the generational divide on the subject. Younger couples often see location sharing as a norm, while those who married before smartphones view it as unnecessary or even intrusive. Kelly, at 55, sits squarely in the latter camp. Independence within togetherness. What makes Kelly's viewpoint compelling is that it reflects her broader philosophy on relationships. Over the years, she's spoken openly about the importance of maintaining her own identity, even within the framework of a high-profile marriage. "Mark is my best friend, no question," she said in a previous interview. "But I've never felt the need to lose myself in the marriage. I still need my own space, my own routines, my own time. And he does too. That's healthy." This balance has been evident throughout their marriage. Even as they share the stage now on Live, both make room for their personal careers, Mark still takes on acting projects, while Kelly has pursued producing and writing. Their relationship thrives not by blending into one person, but by respecting their individuality. Humor is glue. One reason Kelly's comments resonated so strongly is that they were delivered with her signature humor. She joked, "Listen, if Mark's at the gym and I know he's at the gym, what am I supposed to do with that information? Cheer him on from across town? No thanks." Humor has long been a hallmark of the Ripa Consuelos marriage. On air, they tease each other mercilessly, sometimes sparking headlines about whether they've gone too far. Off air, they insist it's simply part of how they communicate. "We laugh about everything," Kelly once said. "Even when we're fighting, it usually ends in laughter." In that light, her dismissal of location sharing wasn't just a stance, it was a playful jab at modern relationship norms. By poking fun at the idea, she reminded fans that love doesn't have to look like a checklist of apps and features. Sometimes, it's about keeping things light and trusting the foundation you've built. Lessons from a long-term marriage. Kelly's candid take on location sharing offers a broader lesson for couples navigating the complexities of modern relationships. Technology can be a double-edged sword. It connects us, but it can also create unnecessary dependency. For Kelly and Mark, the decision to forego constant digital check-ins has been a conscious one, rooted in the belief that true connection comes from conversation, not tracking. Relationship experts often echo this sentiment, warning that location sharing can blur boundaries. Dr. Susan Winter, a relationship advisor, notes that while sharing locations can provide comfort, it can also breed mistrust. The question is, are you sharing out of love and safety, or out of fear and control? The motive matters. For Kelly, the motive clearly matters. Her boundary isn't about resisting technology, it's about protecting the trust and individuality that keep her marriage strong. The bigger picture, privacy in the age of oversharing. Kelly's remark also taps into a larger cultural conversation about privacy in relationships. In an era where social media encourages oversharing and apps make it easy to know your partner's every move, maintaining boundaries has become a radical act. By drawing a line at location sharing, Kelly reminds us that not every modern tool is necessary, or even helpful, for a healthy relationship. Sometimes, the last thing you need to know is exactly where your spouse is. What matters more is knowing who they are, what they value, and how you connect when you're together. Mark's take. Supportive but amused. As for Mark, he seemed more amused than anything by his wife's declaration. On air, he laughed and teased, "So you don't want to know if I'm sneaking off for a cheeseburger?" Kelly shot back with a grin, "Nope. As long as you're home for dinner, I don't need the play-by-play." Their banter underscored just how comfortable they are with their differing perspectives. For Mark, location sharing might not be a big deal. For Kelly, it's a line in the sand. And like many long-married couples, they're perfectly fine with agreeing to disagree. Why it resonates. At the heart of Kelly's comment is a message that resonates far beyond her marriage. Love isn't about control, it's about choice. Choosing to trust, choosing to respect boundaries, choosing to laugh instead of obsess. For a generation raised on the idea that closeness equals constant access, her words serve as a gentle reminder that sometimes the healthiest love gives room to breathe. Conclusion. Love without the tracking app. Kelly Ripa's declaration that location sharing would be a deal breaker may have sounded like a punchline, but it reflects a deeper philosophy that has helped her marriage endure. She and Mark have built a life together rooted in trust, independence, humor, and the ability to let each other be. In an age where technology tempts us to monitor every moment, Kelly's perspective feels refreshingly old school and deeply wise. After nearly 30 years of marriage, she knows what matters most isn't knowing where your partner is, but knowing who they are and trusting that the love you share is strong enough without a GPS signal. As Kelly herself might put it, the last thing she wants to know is Mark's location. The first thing she wants, that he comes home, preferably with a good story to tell and a smile on his face. And that, more than any app, is what keeps their marriage running strong.